Are we live? Looks like it. Good evening and welcome. I'm just doing an operation here and then we will start. Yes, the usual one. And yes, let me also improve this. And yes, good evening. Thank you for stopping by. Today we are going to talk about unshakable peace. And yes, like I've put in the comments, I'm personally having my own challenges right this moment, and I can start explaining what the challenge is. The challenge is very simple. Really, I'm really having some uh, polluted air around me at this moment because near here uh, somebody burned food and then on top of it launched some harsh chemicals, some toxic substance that is making this life a little bit more challenging. But that's a great point. That's a great, I believe, a great example of how can we deal with such things that can take us our own peace, and how can we create, develop, and keep or gain or regain, if you like, that unshakable peace. How can we have it on ourselves? Well, I believe the first and foremost thing is to look, to observe, to witness what is happening at this very moment, and acknowledging that we can make things better if we pay attention to what is right this moment. So for me, this is a must. This is the most important thing that must have its place onto my experience, and I fully recommend those onto anybody that needs to create deeper, lasting peace. Because the unshakable peace, it's the deep peace that has its way even when external conditions test us. And we should know and we should acknowledge, yes, also that many times are precisely the most little things, the most insignificant of things that tests us in unexpected ways. I believe because we tend to um, despise some type of little things, and in making so, we tend to give them stage for them to have their hold onto us. And so, in this case, the little thing, the really little thing, is not the air that is polluted uh, with the smell of burning, coupled with the toxic substance that was sprayed into the air. The main thing is my own Julio reaction into it, because my internal narrative speaks to me. Oh my god, how am I going to make a Facebook live in conditions with this type of air? This thing gets into my ability to be centered because I can't breathe properly, and so on and so on. Why this person did this is so obnoxious, is so beyond understanding, is so stupid, it doesn't work. How is this thing going to be, and blah 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 blah. This type of narrative that arises, and I'm sharing it with you, yes. If I have and this is the first principle, the principle of non-identification. from the moment I acknowledge the narrative, I know I don't identify myself with that narrative, because I know if I do so, that will escalate negative energy, negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, that will only make things worse. So that doesn't help. Yes, of course, it's a challenge, but it's a minor challenge. It's a very minor challenge considering other types of challenge. And then now I'm using the the principle of creative significance. Yes, in order to having a sense of centered observation of the situation and creating some space between me and the unwelcoming narrative about it. Now I can create some meanings that work onto making the situation more truthfully considered as such, and protecting my own internal space. And then I can say, yes, but the person who did so lost her temper. She went afraid when she saw the food burning, and then the first reaction was to put things down, and then try to one thing led to another. People lost the sense of centering, and so the patterns that are automatic went on to take charge of the situation, and then some things that are not so clever happened, like putting the toxics, like whatever, like reacting in a different, in a not non-functional way in major terms around the situation. Well, it is what it is, and now we can activate the principle of empathy, which simply states why. But why? Why did these type of responses, automatic, unconscious responses, happened onto the other people choices? Why? Then we can go forward, and then we can put some other layer, depending on the knowledge that we can have about the person, or even depending on the knowledge that we have about human nature. And we know in broader general terms regarding human nature that if we are not centered, when challenged, we tend to do shitty things. To put things bluntly, we tend to react from gut biases and distortions. And this is a major opportunity for us, because we can see in these type of reactions what are the things that are needed to heal, or to correct, or to learn, or to understand better. Yes, and that is a process that of course it involves all people engaged in a situation. Yes, because the non forgiving mind can say, yes, but that's her fault, she did it again, she's done several times, and etc. But that doesn't help. And if the other person did not do things properly, we can understand, okay, but what is our role on this situation? Well, first and foremost, it's a minor issue, it's a very mild issue. Okay, it lasts from some almost an hour by now, but it will subside, it will pass, everything pass. And of course, what about the consequences? And you can get contaminated and blah 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 blah. Okay, but I can also I can learn to value even more the times when I can access clean water, clean air, millions or billions of people on this planet don't have clean air to breathe. And they really deal with it every single day. People living nearer mines, nearer industrial factories, harsh environments, poisoning themselves, children working in such terms. This is really a a tiny little thing. It's because of a Facebook Live. Now I'm bringing some example around the creative narrative that creates a sort of balance. Yeah, and that narrative should be used consistently if we need to keep ourselves in top shape, in emotionally, intellectual, and including spiritually, with impact on the physical health, of course, realms of life, emotionally, intellectual, spiritually, which affects physical dimension. So, of course, what about the other person who doesn't understand those things well? But if I understand, or if I can understand, well, at least not all of it is lost. If I can understand the importance of not using chemicals to deal with natural problems that can be solved naturally, maybe the people didn't have, most probably the people didn't have the intention of mixing chemicals with the burning. It was an accident. It was a first reaction, like I've said. So this is just an example of, first and foremost, most importantly, centering. Okay, breathing is a dimension of accessing to centering. Okay, yes, but we can access centering from other sources, like observation, like feeling the energy in the body awareness, like going into testimony objects without thinking. Those are practices that I've been stressing several transmissions, several lives, almost every life. I stress these practices because they are so much powerful. They put us in a frame of mind and in a state of consciousness that propels the very best of us. And that's what the purpose-driven expression really is. Expressing our very best, giving our very cherished gifts for ourselves and others. And so that's a major. Then the non-identification, things that happen don't define me or the other person. We are much bigger than those. And then, of course, we can access all types of tools. We should consider the challenging situation. How can we deal with it in practical terms, in operative terms, if that's the case? What can be done to minimize the things? It's opening the window. In this case of toxic, polluted air, is it opening the windows wide open? Yes, for sure, opening the windows wide open. Going to the window, of course, going to the window, that's making the very best thing, not only in the head, not only creating meanings and so on, but dealing in practical terms. Keeping, of course, balanced is very easier to do so with effectiveness and with the loving awareness, of course, because that's the thing of being human. We fail, and then we can acknowledge or correct or not, and dealing that and facing the fact that if the other person, if the other people, if a community or society as such are making things wrong over and over again and they don't correct those, well, what can we do about it? Well, maybe correcting those ourselves for start. That's one issue. First and foremost, if I can do it, what is my fair share of correcting things that are broken or that are wrong, and that I can do. And how can I do it right now? That's one. The other one is how can I improve awareness of those things without being provocative or adding negativity or conflict or violence onto it? First and foremost, how can I do it being truthful to myself? Well, because we don't need to be aggressive or violent, but sometimes we need to be blunt into expressing the thing. Some other times we need to be more subtle and indirect. And are we doing those choices well? What can be improved on for them to be more effective? Well, that connects with the dimension of empathy that I've talked about uh, a moment ago. Yes, because if we have empathy, if we can understand the other side, and understanding empathy, this is a misconception very common, that it is this one. Empathy is not sympathy. Empathy doesn't mean okay, it's all right, okay, have all the toxic spraying that you like, have all the toxic poisoning of our environment that you may wish. No, that's not it. It's acknowledging what is the situation that tends to create or facilitate or invite those type of behaviors, and what can we do about it? What can I, in my role, in my position, with the resources that I have, in my state of awareness, understanding, do for making things better? What can I do to make things better? That's the main issue. How can I participate in a broader, functional, effective, and okay for me way? That's the thing. And so, Unshakable Peace comes to grasp ever more with the dance, of course. One more time, with the dance between life and us, between our internal dimensions, external ones. How can I participate in my internal reality and using that very best source that is in me and in all there is to contribute to an external environment, dance, reality that is ever better and nurtured and useful for us all? How can we do this? And so, really is an invitation for a sustained, committed practice, for putting our very best effort, energy, attention forward, and going towards the world doing so to the best of our ability. Of course, the title is Unshakable Peace. Peace that never breaks, that is last forever peace. Well, it's a sort of copywriting improvement that I'm trying to make into these transmissions. But it is an ideal. Like I've told in another live, it is an ideal. Of course, nobody can have unshakable, unbreakable, unsurmountable type of experience in life. But we can strive for that ideal. Yes. We can make the movements shifter and swifter. Yes, in order to put our very best forth most of the times in order to get more of a fair share of opportunities to contribute, and because that's purpose-driven life, that's purpose-driven living, putting ever more ourselves onto every situation that calls for our creative participation, authentic expression of our being, the expression of ourselves. My dear friends, you don't have any questions? Anything that you want to share? Some peace challenge like the one I have? This is a very mild peace challenge, of course. There is no comparison about this type of challenge and other type of challenges that life can bring us. But I've put it on the table because it is happening right this moment. So it is very present, and as such, I can leverage it to share it with you. A way of dealing with some minor thing depend on our worldview. Maybe not so minor, it can be a little more than minor, depends of course from the behaviors that happen, people involved, history of relationship, etc., etc. We know that things can get complicated, but we should simplify those. We should get to the core of the situation from my perspective and try really to answer the question, how can I create more love and more effectiveness into this situation with my actions? Yes, with my thoughts, with my feelings, with my behaviors, with my words. How can I do it? How can I be an example of it? And so that's the thing. In this case, I think I almost in a split of a second, I thought, why is this happening right now? I need to work. I need to prepare for the life that will come, and then suddenly, like in a flash of a second, in a split of a second, the answer came. Yes, because it is a major asset for the Facebook Live. Because you are having the opportunity of walking the talk. Yes, the air is still very polluted here. Yes, and in order to have some privacy here, I need to close doors. And so, although the window is open, it's kind of a bubble of the toxic with the burned food smelling coupled with the toxic spray onto the air. So still, so it's an opportunity. Of course, it's an opportunity to use it. Of course, for me, I'm at an advantage in existential terms at right this time. Yes, it's true, because I'm doing something that I love to do. I love to communicate, to express myself, to express my truth of understanding to the very best of my ability in order to serve others. So this is a major this is a major perspective to have. This is a major place to be. I'm in a very, very great place because I'm doing the thing that I love. One of the things I love the most in life. In order to deal with the challenge at the same time, create meaning out of it. So it's a big, great opportunity. Yes. So I feel blessed. I more than disturbed, although still bothered for the thing, because it's breathing is very important when we are talking. And when I breathe, the air is not okay. So of course it's not very comfortable, but well, it's inspiring for me. It's, at least for me, it's inspiring. Consider the opportunity of making some sort of contribution, starting from this. And I believe this can be, of course, it is a major advice that we all find in purpose-driven contents, knowledge, in personal development, which is using our biggest assets and strengths and preferences, interests, passions to deal with the challenge that we face. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. No, that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying. I'm not just trying. I'm doing it. Depending on the preferences, of course, you may find it or not useful for you. But I'm having fun. I'm liking it. So it's for me. It's already a success. Yes, I can say it in a sense. So please, I can. Do you want to share something, some challenge, something that put your piece onto question, something that you need? Please put your questions, your remarks on the comments. I will answer it with all pleasure. So the main issue here is unbreakable peace or unshakable peace is more of an ideal, although it can be quite a successful ideal to live into our lives. And even when it's breaked, yes, because we can test our own ability to step up the ant, or pick ourselves up from the ground, or going one level up, leveling our game up, getting some more mastery about issues that take our peace away or challenge it in any way. So we can and we should, and depending on the context, we must, at least if you want to have some type of result, we must have the ability to face harsh things and keep peace in turn inside ourselves. And of course, if you have some sort of a leadership position, especially if it is acknowledged by more people, and if those people put you into pressure, oh, this is a major one. This is a very big skill, capability to have in your toolkit. The ability to keep a deep level, pervasive level of peace that is around you, within you, and that transmits itself onto others. That is a major leadership asset, as you know. So, because all of us love to get more peace from others, but not so many of us like to give peace to others when they are disturbed, unfortunately. Or at least not so many of us choose the path one time after the other, or one way after the other, one choice after the other, to give that peace to others. People put themselves many times onto the receptive side of peace. I want more peace. Please give me peace. Why do you do this every single day? Why do you keep making things harder? Why? They don't think many times, because they don't, the pattern isn't broken. How can I put more of what I want onto the table and starting doing so? Instead of asking for others to do so, let me put that onto the table. Let me put myself. What am I doing in order to create a cleaner air? Yes, Julie, what am I doing? I'm being challenged, like I've told, because I'm breathing right this moment, speaking with you, a polluted air, burned food coupled with toxic spray. It's very harsh experience. Well, but it's getting better because the time is passing by, and it's getting better. But well, now turning the mirror to me, what can I do to make the air breathable and cleanable, not only for me but for the other people and for the planet? Yes, what can I do to create solutions around those. What can I do to not add on to the problem already created? What can I do to make that into a stepping stone of better relationship building, better understanding, better empathy, better observation, better leadership, better sharing, better purpose driven, facilitating and inspiring? That's the thing. Now you share. Julieta, unbelievably funny. Gets more houseplants. Yes, I should. I don't have a single houseplant here in this space. Can you believe it? Yes, Julio, how can you? How can't you? How can't you have a single plant in that division? Yes, I don't. I should. Now I'm considering having one. Yes, yes, my dear friends. That's the thing. That's the thing. Humor, of course, humor is very important. I haven't mentioned it, but yet it's very important to have humor to deal with the things that bug us, in a sense, that make us uncomfortable, that challenge our own assumptions, our own biases, our own beliefs. And of course, it has a downside. It has a downside. Polluting, bad hair has a downside, but we can find many great sides, and that's one of the things that we humans are proficient across our evolution arc. We humans, for the better or worse, we are incredibly resilient, adaptive, and hard to beat. I do believe, yes, and using this COVID-19 context, putting that context into place right now, I do believe that we must make ourselves much more connected to all there is. That's one of the reasons, if not the main reason, that I'm bringing repeatedly the message of getting yourself centered, putting yourself in connection with yourself, with that awareness, that source, all pervasive source that some call God, others call presence, others call Allah, whatever name we may call it, universe, putting into contact with that presence and using those reinforced connectors onto practice when it matters the most. It's not when we are in the classroom teaching or although it can be useful, but I believe it's in the very smallest of things in life. Like a Portuguese philosopher that I cherish deeply, the Portuguese Agostinho da Silva said, if you are a person for the smallest of moments, you will be a person for the greatest of moments, for the biggest of moments, for the greatest challenges. Because in that gym of the small moment, and this is a major one, I believe, the gym of the small moment really is the incubator for the bigger moment, for the flashlight, for the spotlight, when you need to be at your utmost best in order to make a greater external visible impact, because we don't know what type of impact our deep aware presence have onto the fabric of the universe. There are several theories about it, including measurable scientific evidence that was translated into studies that our own awareness creates a ripple effect onto the world, onto this planet, that is incredibly healing to our Mother Earth, to our Mother Gaia, that nurtures us, that sustains us. Since the dawn of times, since the dawn of humanity. And dear mother that is getting so much aggression from these species. It's time for us to stop that madness. Yes, for sure. And it will happen when we are the other, because the planet will not take us much longer going this stage. But I believe it's being reversed as we speak. I believe the change is already happening, but we must keep it on. We must put our very best effort onto the table for that peace be really an enlivened peace for every single life form onto this planet, not just for our own individual humanly purposes and lives, but for all there is, because peace really is a major one for all that is into this planet. So, my dear friends, thank you one more time for stopping by, especially you, Julieta, the tutalista, our full participant. Thank you very much for sharing your comments. All of you for your messages, for your for your adherence to the transmission, for your later checking. Yes, for those of you who do so, thank you very much for having your time and attention. Yes, and your energy. Tomorrow we will talk about the purpose journey. I will talk about the purpose journey. I will make some subtle, nuanced explanations about making journey when we have different levels of purpose awareness, and I believe this is a major one. That is not I haven't seen those shared in the personal development space yet. I've seen some alternatives. I've seen some examples that I will share it with you, but I haven't seen anything like the thing I'm going to share. How do we have a better understanding of the journey of purpose according to our own level of awareness onto purpose? Bye bye. Thank you very much.